Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a bit of a longer video. As you can see from the title, I wanted to try out some new foundations. I have been in a bit of a rut with my foundations. I haven't really tried many in the last couple of years at all, and I just wanted to try some newer formulas and slightly older ones too. And have an opportunity to try a couple. So since there was a few on my list that I wanted to try, I decided to pick up 5 new foundations, and today I'm going to do a first impression with all 5, compare them, see how I like them, and yeah, that's going to be the video today. I'm not going to keep this intro much longer because I know the footage from this foundation is going to be very long, so I'm going to jump into the video. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. Good morning, we are here with a first impression of my first foundation in this series. It is currently, let me check, it is currently 5 to 6 in the morning, as you might be able to see. I don't have my background laptop, it's at the office right now. I'm filming this on a Thursday, usually my laptop Wednesday. Doesn't quite matter, but it is currently 5 to 6. So I'm gonna do my first impression today of my foundation, and today I'm gonna try out the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour skin tint, and this is in the shade 03. So as you can see from the title, in this video I'm going to do 5 first impressions with 5 new foundations that I picked up. I've been on a hunt for my favorite foundation, so I wanted to give a couple a go, and I thought this would be a fun video idea, so that is what I'm doing. I'm going to be 100% transparent here. This is actually not the first time me wearing this foundation. I did film a first impression of this foundation, however my footage got lost. I must have deleted it off my camera before I transferred it into my laptop or something similar because I cannot find it. I do however have the check-in footage from the middle of the day. In this series I do one kind of, morning filming where I can apply the foundation. Once when I've done my whole makeup, then I do a check-in around lunchtime, and then I do a wrap-up at the end of the day. Everything in this room I lost, so I am refilming that, but the check-in part at the middle of the day will be the original footage, and I will try to kind of just portray the thoughts that I had in my original first impression. So I'm gonna apply this in a second. First up as well, since this is the first foundation that I'm talking about, I have primed half my face. So this side here I have primed. I use my Professional primer. I just wanted to use something like smoothing and kind of pore fitting, mattifying, not anything like long lasting, just to see how the difference is. And for all of my foundations in this video, I'm applying them with a beauty blender because that's what I do every single day. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this foundation. I'm going to apply it on both of my side of my face, and we're going to see how I get on. Again, not the first time of me using this foundation, but I will again try to say the same things that I did in my first impression. So I put some on my hand there. It is quite thick. It's not like super thick, but it is not like super runny either. So I do have a mirror right here, and I'm going to go ahead and apply it. I put some up on my brush. I'm going to start with this side right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a thin layer. This foundation is super nice. Again, I've used it now a couple times, so I can kind of say that. But first impression, I said that this one has really great coverage, especially for being a skin tint, and it's very kind of thin on the skin too. It does look very skin-like, which I really like. And I really like just how it looks in general on my skin. So that is kind of like the first layer on that side of my face. I'm gonna go ahead and do this side, which is the primed side of my face. Let me speed this up. So there we have it applied. It's a thin layer everywhere, and again the finish is initially quite like satiny, very skin-like. It's not too glowy, but it definitely has a glow to it. It hasn't quite done it yet, but I know what this foundation is going to do. It does feel a little bit set, like it feels tacky to this touch still, but obviously I just applied it. But I know this foundation settles down, because again, I won a couple times. But first impression, I'm going to find that out when I apply the rest of my makeup. but initially it looked very smoothing, very kind of healthy looking, very skin-like, and I really like this foundation so far. This foundation color as well is a perfect match for me. It is like really good match, so I'm very happy with it so far. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my makeup. I need to get ready for work, of course, but I'll finish my makeup up and I will be right back. So I'm back and I've done my base. It is currently 6:18, so 20 past 6. So I'm not done with my makeup. I love how this foundation looks. I love how everything went on above it. I am using my Fenty Even Concealer, which has been my favorite recently. I put that under my eyes and around my nose. Something to note though, because I did do this differently last time, because I knew that this was going to happen. This foundation self-sets, so I haven't put powder anywhere apart from where I put the concealers under my eyes and around my nose. I put my powder, but everywhere else I did not set, and it feels very set now. So this is a very self-setting foundation, which means that if you wait too long to apply your concealer, it does kind of not merge when the foundation properly. That's happened the first time. You might be able to see it in my like check-in footage. I can't remember, but maybe you'll see it there. But last time around my nose, it did kind of like not meld well with the foundation, so I applied that first this time just to make sure that it didn't happen again. But yeah, overall looks very smoothing, very nice. Everything went on perfectly on top of it, all my like bronzers and blush and everything like that. I guess there are powder products, but they all went out all perfectly and it looks very good. I am very happy with how this foundation just performs so far and looks. So that is going to be my initial check-in for this foundation. I need to get ready for work. I need to head off in about 10-15 minutes, so I need to get dressed. I'm still in my pajamas. But yeah, I am gonna go ahead and film another check-in at the end of the day. Of course, I already have the middle of the day check-in, so I will insert that so you can see what it looked like at my first time applying this foundation ever, because I do have that, because I filmed that on my phone. But yeah, I will go ahead and wrap this part up now, and then I will check in with you later. So I'm doing my check-in on my phone just to show you more natural lighting. So I'm going to get really close and personal. This side here is the one with the primer and this one is without. I do feel like, looking at the viewfinder, I feel like it's looking pretty good. I have noticed in here my foundation settling a little bit, but overall I'm really happy with how it looks like. It is currently, what time is it? It is 12:30, so it's been how long? It's been almost 6 hours since I put it on, which is pretty good. So yeah, this is the current state of the foundation. So yeah, let me check in again in a couple hours. So I'm back and it's the end of the day. I've been at work all day. It's now 10 to 6 p.m, which means this foundation has been on for 12 hours. I'm really happy with how it's looking. Just note as well, like I haven't touched up anything. I haven't touched like powdered at all. I haven't like done anything. And honestly, it looks amazing, and that's basically the gist of this foundation. I feel like it looks absolutely flawless after so long. Even as well, I don't know if you can see my hair, it is a little bit damp, and that is because on the way home from the train station we got caught in a rainstorm. It just started pouring, you know, April showers kind of thing, even though it's in March. I've also had like sniffly nose today. I'm getting a cold, I think. So despite all of that, I feel like this foundation has held up really well. Like I feel like my eye makeup is more smudged than my foundation, but looking at the foundation itself, like really up and like close and personal, I don't think there's been much fading at all. You can see a little bit around my nose has been broken up, but I think again I've been rubbing my nose, so that's absolutely perfect, like perfectly normal. So this foundation is such a long-lasting one. It doesn't go oily. Like I feel like I have a little bit of shine, but it's not really shine. Honestly, I'm looking at my fingers, there's like not really any chance. We still feel very like powdery soft. So definitely a good foundation. I really love this one. Again, unfortunately I don't have my original footage, but that was kind of my main gist as well. I've been wearing this foundation almost every time I go to the office now because it is so long lasting and I know it's going to last throughout the whole day. So definitely a good one. Very, very good start to the first impression week. So let's move on to foundation number 2. Good morning. So today I'm here with the second foundation first impression. So as you can see, it's quite early in the morning. I have been awake for a little while, but it's time to start getting ready for work. And I wanted to test another foundation out today. It's been a couple of days since my last video. I've been actually slacking a little bit on these, but I thought it was about time to do another tester. So today's foundation is actually this one right here. This is the Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Natural Luminous Longwear Foundation, and I have mine in the shade 130. I hope it's going to be a good shade match. I bought this one online. So we'll see. Looking at it, I think it looks pretty good. It looks a little bit kind of more yellow leaning, but usually I feel like my skin is a little bit more yellow leaning, so I think that should be fine. But yeah, this is what the bottle looks like. It's very sleek, very kind of luxurious feeling, and yeah, I'm excited to give it a go. So I have moisturized my face. I have put my primer on this side of my face, just as last time. It is the Professional primer. That's one that I'm applying at the moment. And otherwise, I am going to go ahead and apply this. I'm going to apply it with a sponge, which I normally do, and we'll see how I get on. So my plan is to apply it now, finish my makeup, do like a check-in at that point, and then I will do like checkouts for the out today, just like last time. So let me go and get my sponge and a mirror, and I will start applying this foundation. So I am gonna start off with, let me see, I think I'm gonna start off with like 2 pumps, or I think I have about 1.5 pump. It's pretty big pump, so I thought I'll start with a bit less, so about 1.5 pumps. I'm putting some on my brush, and I'm gonna start applying it. I'm gonna start applying it on this side of my face. I have a couple mini breakouts, so we'll see how that covers it up. But yeah, this side here is the one without primer, and initially, color-wise, pretty good color. It's a little bit too yellow tone, which I suspected, but not bad at all. And I do also feel like it has a decent amount of coverage. Definitely. A little bit goes a long way. It's definitely covering that side of the face pretty evenly. Let me go ahead and blend this out. I'm going to start with, again, use this side. So there we have it on this side, and this one is not yet applied. Initial impressions, I like it. I feel like it's a little bit more makeupy than my last foundation, which was the Maybelline 24-hour Skin Tint, but it's still looking pretty good. Again, a good kind of match, a little bit kind of maybe half a shade darker than my current skin tone, and also a little bit more yellow, but that's fine. I'm an absolute palette right now, so that's okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply it on the other side too. And I have chosen to do these first impressions using a sponge because that is what I use every day. I never really use a brush. I just feel like sponges work the best for me. So that's also why I decided to use it that way. But again, I have half my side primed, used to be like a pore filling primer, not really like a long lasting primer, used to see if it changes the formula at all. But yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing it this way, and I just want to give the foundation a good chance. But that is it mostly applied. It does blend in pretty evenly, and coverage wise, I feel like it's pretty good coverage. Some of my imperfections right there are still showing through. I had like a spot right there, for example. But overall, good coverage and looks pretty good on the skin too. It's currently pitch black outside, so I can't look at it in natural lighting, but in my ring light, it does look pretty good. So I think that is going to be it for now. Sorry, I'm covering the camera. Yeah, I like how it looks. It looks nice. It has like a luminous type of finish. It is setting down a little bit, similar to the Maybelline foundation. Not as much yet though, but we'll see after I've done the rest of my makeup if it does more. But I'm gonna take a break now. I'm gonna go off camera, finish up the rest of my makeup, and then I will be right back to show you what it looks like. So I did my makeup and this is what it turned out like. I just did quite a simple look. I was working from home today, and then I did apply my face product. So just as in the last review, I think this is going to be my standard for these reviews, just to give the foundation kind of its own trial. I applied my concealer, and I'm using the Fenty Even concealer. That's been my favorite since I purchased it. So kind of like the same brand on my face today for like liquid based products at least. So I applied that, and then I applied my Huda Beauty under eye Easy Bake powder, the loose powder, underneath my eyes and just around my nose where I like pull down the concealer. I didn't put it everywhere, but I just put underneath my eyes, and then whatever was left, I just put a little bit around my nose because I have a little bit of discoloration there. And I just applied the powder there, used to set the concealer, but I left the skin, like the rest of my skin, unset. Even before my cheek products, I left it unset. So I then applied my bronzer, my blush, and my highlighter. And they all went on really well, no patchiness, nothing like that, which I'm really happy with, because sometimes I feel like when I don't set my face, it does kind of cling to like the moisture in the foundation, but this one looked really nice. So I'm gonna do a close-up so you can see what it looks like. And yeah, I'm really happy with first impression. I do feel like it's a little bit shiny, like on my chin and stuff like that, but I'm not going to set it. I'm just going to see how it gets on. Maybe halfway through the day today, if it's really bad, I might just powder it down, but we'll see. And considering like the setting power, again, I wouldn't say it sets as much as the Maybelline powder, but it is semi-set. It mostly set, and that's also I think why the powder products went on so nicely. But it's not like fully powdery feeling, it's just like a little bit of tackiness to it. But yeah, that is my initial application. It is now what, 10 to 7? Yes, 10 to 7. I obviously already had this on for about half an hour, so I am gonna do check-ins today. I'll probably do one at around lunchtime, and then I'll do my wrap-up around 6:30, so it's been like 12 hours of wear. But yeah, I'll catch in with you in a couple hours and we'll see how the foundation is getting on. So I'm doing a bit of a check-in right now. So it is currently 12:30, so it's been about 6 hours since I put this on, and this is what it looks like. I might move better to this window. There you go. This is in sunlight, or in daylight. It's not sunlight, but in daylight. As you can see, the color is slightly off, but in general I feel like it looks pretty nice. Sorry, my lipstick has worn off too, but there's a little bit of fading around my nose. No creasing really, but yeah, a little bit of fading. Nothing too extreme. I think this is kind of like normal for foundations for me. So yeah, really happy with how it's looking right now. This is my little mini check-in, but I will of course wrap it up again at the end of the day. I don't think I'm gonna like do any touch-ups or anything. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this until end of the day to see what it looks like. So I'm back for the final check-in of the foundation, and as you can see, the time currently is 6:30 basically. I have to check my watch because I can't see it unless I turn around, which means the foundation has now been on for 12 hours. So I wanted to share with you what it now looks like and how it's been holding up. So as you know, I did not powder anywhere apart from underneath my eyes and a tiny bit like around my nose where I put my concealer. It has not got oily much, like at all basically. However, it does have some fading. First up, I do want to kind of talk about my chin, because probably not the best idea for my end, but I am wearing a turtleneck and I have felt like when I've been working today, I have felt like this rubbing on my chin. So I believe most of like the fading right here is from my jumper. So I'm not too worried about that, but just to know that it's gonna rub off if you rubbing against something, but again, not too bad. So if you take that away, I feel like the foundation looks really good. There is some fading around my nose. My nose, like, not like around my nose, but like my nose itself looks a little bit dry, just like if I'm looking at like kind of like where the pores are. I don't think it's sunken into my pores, but actually a little bit. So it's a little bit broken up around my nose, but not too bad. And again, tip of my nose, I feel like it has faded, but I think it's probably because of rubbing and stuff. And again, around my nose. So it is faded around here and on my chin, but cheeks look really good. A little bit of coverage has faded, especially like around here, where I had a little bit of like, not breakouts, but like a little few spots. Cheek products have held up really well. I feel like they haven't faded at all. And overall, I feel like it has held up really well. Like judging it compared to the last foundation that I tried, which was the Superstay 24-hour skin tint from Maybelline, I feel like this one hasn't held up quite as good when it comes to like longevity. I feel like the other one, oh, it's got glitter on my chin from the palette that I'm holding, but I feel like the other one had a little bit more holding power, but I also feel like this one is really nice, so I need to play around with them more to see which one I prefer. But I do really like how this one looks, and honestly don't really have any gripes with it, considering like it did look a little bit more dewy originally. I was scared that this one was going to get very oily, especially like in these areas, which are my problem areas, but it is not, and it hasn't really faded there either. So overall, really happy with this foundation, and that is going to be the second foundation in this kind of mini ranking series. So I'm going to move on swiftly to day 3. So we are back with day 3 of my foundation first impressions. I do have my third foundation right behind me, and the one that we're going to test out today is one that I've been wanting to try for a long time. It's been on my to buy list for forever, and I just wanted to purchase it finally. It's been a cult classic in the like beauty community for like again years, but I just never tried it myself, and that is the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC cream, CC plus, and I have mine in the shade Fair Warm. So again, I've been wanting to try this one for years, but I just never picked it up because I just had other foundations. It was just other things that I tried instead, but it is one that I want to give it a go. So I did pick this one up, and we're going to give this one a go today. I'm very excited. I've heard really good things about it, and even though it is an older foundation, it is new to me. So just as every other day, I have moisturized my skin, that's all I've done, and then I have put my professional primer on this side of the face just to see if like a mattifying primer helps with longevity, or not longevity, but like with just the appearance of the foundation, and also just to see how it works with primers. I don't really want to use like a long-lasting primer because I feel like that would change like the performance too much, so I'm just using the mattifying primer for now. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into the first impression and try this one out. So let me go ahead and get my beauty sponge, and we're going to start using this product. So we do have a pump, and I'm going to go ahead and pump out maybe, that was probably like a pump and a half. So I'm going to try to start with that. It's a very thick consistency, and I do have my wet sponge. This is how I apply my foundations every day. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply it to this area right here. It looks a little bit light, but I'll probably be able to make that work. I need to get a mirror as well. Alright, so let me blend it in. Okay, it looks very nice on the skin, and actually blending in, it does not look that light anymore. I think this is actually a pretty perfect shade for me. I thought it might have been a bit too yellow originally, but I think I did a pretty good job shade matching myself. And I really like how easily that went on. It looks absolutely amazing. It looks very natural on the skin. And that is again the primer side. I'm going to do the same with the other side here. I do have like a couple imperfections, like little blemishes, not proper spots, but like a little blemishes. So we'll see how that covers them up. Alright, so it is applied. You can definitely see some of my spots through. So it's not like a super high coverage, but I would say it's like a medium coverage. And I do have some foundation left on my hand, so I feel like a pump would probably be enough. I don't think I need a pump and a half with this foundation. It goes a long way. It smooths out really nicely. I will since I have some on my hand anyway, I would try to build it up a little bit on those spots just to see how it builds. See if we can get some more coverage out of it. I have some on my nose here too. And yeah, I mean that's building quite well. It doesn't like completely cover them still, but yeah, I think that covers them pretty well. I'll just take the last bit and just blend that slightly down my neck. But I think that was pretty good shade match, and I think that goes on very, very nicely. Yes, I'm very, very happy with how that looks, if I'm being honest. And again, I'm very, very happy with the shade match too. Again, it is maybe a slightly too pale for me, but I feel like with my rest of my makeup on, that will be absolutely fine. I'd rather have something that is like one shade too light for me than one shade too dark, just because I bronze and stuff anyway. And yeah, first impression looks really good, looks really nice. Okay, I was gonna say, I'm expecting this to be quite sticky, but it's not fully set, but it is quite like semi-set, I would say. And it doesn't seem to transfer onto my fingers, at least not like right here. But I will test it again after I have applied the rest of my makeup, just to see how it has set by then. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So I'm back and I've done my makeup. And I really like how this foundation looks. Again, let me grab my mirror. But yeah, I think it's sitting really nicely on the skin. It is a pretty good match. I can tell my chin is like sunk into my pores a tiny bit, but that's like the only place where I can see that. And it's not fully set, but it's pretty set. And my concealer and powder and everything went on beautifully. I have done it the same as with the other days, where I put I'm using my Fenty with even concealer, and then my Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder, and I set this area and then around my nose where I put the concealer, because those are the two areas that I always conceal. My bronzer and cheek products I think went on pretty well. Again, you can see the spots through a tiny bit, but I think that's normal for most foundations unless it's like a high coverage one. And I think initially this one looks absolutely great, and color wise I think that's a pretty spot on match. I think, did it oxidize anything? It's hard to tell. I don't think so. I think it's just more like I evened out with putting everything else on. So I think this looks pretty good. I'm of course going to wear this. It is now just after 7. So I'm going to wear this one for about 12 hours. I might wrap this up just before 7 because I applied this one at like 6:45. But yeah, I will do a check-in as well around lunchtime, so like halfway through the day-ish, and let you know what it looks like then. But yeah, really happy with how it looks initially, and I think we have another winner, at least for now, but like look-wise, but we're gonna have to see how the longevity is for this product. So I'm doing my check-in and it's almost 1 p.m. So it's been, what, like 6.5 hours? No, well, around 6. So I'm gonna go close to the window so you can see. So this foundation, I feel like it's holding up pretty well. Not a lot of fading, cheek products still look good. You might be able to see better now what I meant with like, it's been settling a little bit into my pores on my chin. I don't think it's gotten worse necessarily, but I can definitely see it still. And you can see the same problem here on my nose a little bit, but overall it looks pretty good. Probably not as smoothing as the other foundations that I've tried so far. Both the Fenty and the Maybelline foundation I think are a bit more smoother and look a bit more kind of natural on the skin. But overall, really good coverage and looks pretty nice. I think it's only like when you super up close and personal you can see it, like from afar. Definitely think it looks perfect. I don't think it's gotten too shiny. It doesn't feel like it feels pretty much set now. And yeah, that is kind of my middle check-in. I will check in with you again at the end of the day in another 6 hours around. So I'm back with my final check-in for the It Cosmetic CC Cream. I really love how this one looks still. I don't feel like it's declined much at all. Like the longevity of this one is really nice. I'm going to pull up a mirror to have a look at it. So there's not much fading, to be honest. Like I don't think it has faded much at all. So if that's something you're like struggling with, I feel like this one is a really good one. However, I can see there is a little bit of like breaking up on my nose chin and even like on my upper lip. It looks like a little bit kind of like dry skin, but also sinking into my pores. So that's something to keep in mind. I would say again, the cheeks and everything looks really good. It still feels very set. I haven't gotten oily. If anything, I'm a little bit dry, like I said. I know also my skin have been a bit drier recently since being pregnant. But overall, again, I think it looks really good. I think with this foundation though, I probably would just do a little bit more skin prep in that kind of T-zone area, just because I do see that little kind of breaking up, but more like not breaking up because of oil, more because like it feels like my skin has like drunken up the foundation. But other than that, it looks really good. Just like in the last one, the cheek products still looks amazing, and again, less fading than the Fenty foundation, but I feel like it is not as long lasting as the Maybelline foundation, because that one looks like almost perfect at the end of the day. I did forget to mention when I first applied this, by the way, this one does have a little bit of a scent. It's almost like a citrusy scent. So if you're sensitive to scents, that's something to keep in mind. It might just be the skincare ingredients here, because I feel like this is supposed to be like a skincare type of product because it's a CC cream. But it's just something that I wasn't aware of. It's not like an offensive scent. It's just like a citrusy type of scent. So it did disappear as soon as I applied it. I just noticed it as soon as I pumped it out, and like when it was fresh on my beauty blender. But again, nothing that lingers or anything like that. As soon as you like blend it out, it was fine. Just again to keep it in mind. But yeah, really happy with this foundation too. I think it looks nice. Again, not perfect, but definitely a bit drier than I expected. I thought this one would be quite dewy. But I like these type of like natural finished foundations, the ones that are a tiny bit dewy, but not like a matte type of finish, more like just like a natural skin texture. I really like those, so this one is another winner for me, and I'm really happy that I picked it up. Good morning. So we are here with another first impression of a foundation. This is the fourth foundation that we're doing. We're currently on the weekend, which is why I'm filming this a little bit later than normal. I didn't want to get up my normal 5:30 alarm on the weekend. So I'm starting this off just after like 8. I'm going to probably count it from 8:30. So that is basically the first impression today. So the foundation I'm doing is this one right here. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation, and I have mine in the shade Shortbread 200B. So I'll take it out of the box. I can't remember what this one looks like, if it was a good color or not. Looking at it through the tube, it looks pretty good. But yeah, I've obviously haven't tried this one yet. It says here that it has niacinamide on the back, 1.5%. That's cool. But yeah, this is supposed to be quite a blurring foundation. I'm very excited to try it. As per normal, I have a primer on half of my face. I have this side here primed, and I have this moisturized and everything like normal. So we're gonna go ahead and apply it with a wet sponge, also as per normal. So I'm gonna jump into this foundation, pump some out on my hand, and we're gonna get started. So we have the foundation right here. It is it's actually thinner than I thought it would be. You can see that it's quite runny. It's not like super runny or anything, but it is definitely thinner than I thought, considering it's like quite a blurring foundation. I was expecting it to be quite like thick, I guess. But I'm gonna take some of my sponge and I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. The color looks good as of like first impression who's looking at it. But let's apply it. I do have a couple of blemishes today on this side of my face, especially where I primed. So we'll see how it covers that, but yeah. Okay, as a very initial thin layer, it is quite a sheer coverage, but I am pretty sure this will be able to be built up at least to a medium coverage, but let's see. Color-wise, looks like a pretty good match. Not like perfect, maybe. It looks a little bit maybe too dark for me right now, but pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like the best match this trial, but definitely doable. I've done a really good job considering I bought all these foundations online. I did a really good job color matching myself. I would say so myself. I guess I am starting to learn my undertones and depth and stuff like that. But it's hard obviously with swatches in mind and whatnot. But that is all of that foundation used up. And this is the first layer. I would say that it's definitely lighter coverage as well that I was expecting. It does cover everything that I wanted to cover apart from those blemishes right there. And yeah, I can tell it's a tiny bit darker than I would expect. But again, nothing too bad. Finish looks very natural. Yeah, it's quite glowy still. And it does look very nice, but I wouldn't say that it's like super blurring on my pores or anything, but it does look good. I used Turd again. This one is supposed to be very, very blurring. But I'm gonna put out a tiny bit more on my hand, see if we can build it up on top of those imperfections on this side. But yeah, you can see I put a tiny bit more. I'm gonna put it on my sponge again. I'm sure as well if I put it on with a brush, it might give more coverage, but I always apply with a sponge, as I mentioned in these first impressions. Yeah, it doesn't really build that much. I would say this definitely stays at the medium coverage. It's not a problem. I will just leave those, like I'm not too bothered about some blemishes showing through. That's fine by me. So let me go ahead and blend this down my neck. And yeah, overall, I think this one looks good. So we just blend in the last bit. Alright, so that is foundation freshly applied. I think again it looks very nice. It looks very skin-like. It actually doesn't look like I'm wearing a lot of foundation at all, especially on this side here, which I applied a thinner layer. I think you can see it a tiny bit more here where I have a hair on my face, where I built it up a little bit. But still looks really good. Yeah, I'm happy with how this one looks. Again, less coverage than I expected and a bit thinner than I expected, but like just looking at it as a foundation on its own, I think it looks really nice on the skin. But yeah, I just not what I expected, which is interesting. But I'm gonna go ahead and come off camera, finish up my makeup as per normal, and I will be right back showing you what it looks like all done then. So I'm back and I've done my makeup. I just realized I forgot lipstick, but it doesn't really matter, I can apply it afterwards. But this is what the foundation looks like right now. So again, as per normal, I just set my under eye and around my nose where I put my concealer, and I'm using the same concealer as every other day. It is good to note, as you might have heard in my voice just then, I do have a cold. I have been quite sick. It's coming out now, like I'm coming out of the sickness, but it also means that I'm very congested. So I'm blowing my nose a lot, my eyes are watering. I don't know if you can see, my eyes are currently watering there, but I irritated after applying my mascara. But that means that I don't know how well this foundation is going to last around, like I might get some watery eyes. And then again, around my nose, I'm definitely going to rub off the foundation. So in these first impressions, I've definitely before not like touched up anywhere. But considering my nose today, I might just have to touch up, and if so, I might just bring my concealer with me because I'm going out for the day. So I might just touch up that area if I rub off the foundation. So just note that. It is a bit unfortunate, but I need to film this because this video is going up in a couple of days and I still have 2 more foundations to test. But yeah, that is definitely something to note. Otherwise, everything went on pretty nicely, like no issues with the base products. Color looks good. Again, probably 1 shade too dark for me. It is still pretty shiny, so you can see down here, for example, I have not set the foundation, and feeling it, it is quite tacky. It's definitely not like that self-setting, but I don't feel like it's transferring. But just note that this one is not as self-setting as some of the other foundations, and I would still say that this is kind of tacky. To be honest, it's quite similar to a lot of other foundations, though it's quite like a normal tackiness. It might set down more throughout the day. But yeah, this is what it looks like right now. I'm gonna do another close-up. And I'm gonna check in again in a couple hours. I'll try to check in. I'm going out today. My partner's parents are in town, so we're gonna go out for like lunch and some shopping. So I don't know when I'll be able to do my check-in, but I'll try to do one in the afternoon at some point. Obviously, I'm counting this from 8:30, so I guess the check-in would then be what? So check-in would be around like 2:30. But it might be a little bit later that if I do like the 6-hour check-in. And then I'll of course wrap up this around 8, 9, I guess. We'll see. But for now, this is what the foundation looks like, and I will check in with you later today. So I just got back and it's time to check in on the foundation. Let me get close to the window. So like I said, ignore my nose, it is always being rubbed. Everything else, my chin, I think it's broken up a little bit. And you can still see some of my imperfections through, like I said. But I don't think the foundation has broken up much or anything yet. Again, mainly just around my nose, but again, that's just from rubbing it. But I do still think it looks pretty good. Nothing like major to comment on. Again, think it looks good. It's now 3:20, which means it has been, what's that, 7 hours almost? So yeah, I think it looks pretty good, but that is my midday check-in. So it is the end of the day. As you can see, it is currently 5 to 8, which means that the foundation's been on now for about 11.5 hours, and I thought it would be time to wrap it up. It's not quite the 12-hour mark, but it's late and I want to have a bath, and then I need to, basically I'm gonna have a bath, watch RuPaul's, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So I wanted to wrap it up now. I'm also still feeling very kind of congested and ill. Luckily, like, the brain fog has gone, but I'm just very congested. So I kind of want to wrap this up a little bit early. But looking at the foundation, again, I did just touch up around my nose with concealer just because it was so red. I've been blowing it all day. So just know that, like, just around here it's been reapplied with concealer, but nowhere else have I touched anything up. And let me get my mirror quickly. Looking at the foundation, I can see that it's worn around here, but again, I'm not judging foundation for that. Even here on my nose, I'm not judging. I can see it's a little bit dry, like around here, so it has dried out a little bit, but cheek products still are there, which is a good sign. I can see a little bit of it's worn off here, but it doesn't look like really, like, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's broken up or sunk into my pores or anything. It just looks like it's worn away, which is absolutely fair. I probably have loving touching my chin and stuff like that. The cheeks don't look faded much at all. Again, you can kind of see it here. I haven't put much concealer on, but it is a little bit dry around my nose, if anything. And then where I had those breakouts, I can see that coming through a little bit more now, and it doesn't look a little bit makeup-y around that area, but I think it's also because I built it up so much, because it's the only area where it looks like that. But overall, I think this foundation has held up really well. Again, especially considering that I have a cold and that I have been rubbing my face quite a lot, especially, you know, that area that I blow my nose. I do think it looks really good. I don't think it has declined much at all. Yeah, really happy with this one. It does seem to be very long lasting, and it has been quite smoothing, to be honest. Not the most smoothing. I'm not, like, I don't think it's the most smoothing foundation that I ever tried, but yeah, it does look good. And the tackiness that I talked about this morning is definitely completely gone now. It probably took, I don't know how long to set down, but it is gone without, like, rubbing off too much. I think it does have a little bit of fading around my jawline, but not in the sense of it being like patchy or anything. I feel like it's just worn away very naturally, which is a really good sign, because then if it does wear away, it doesn't look like foundation versus no foundation, if that makes sense. So yeah, another win. I really like this foundation too. I think we've had quite a successful run with these foundations, so that's gonna be it. I have one more foundation to try, so let me jump into that. So good morning, we are here with the final first impression, and today we're starting off a little bit differently. As you might be able to tell, I have already concealed under my eyes and around my nose, which is two places that I normally conceal. And the reason why I've done that today is because we're actually going to try out a powder foundation. This here is the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam powder foundation, and I have mine in the shade M2. I hope it's going to be a good shade match. I have actually no idea. I can't remember what it looks like. I looked at it when I first got it, like just in the compact. It looks like this. I'm hoping that's going to be a good color, so It does come with a powder puff, which I'm going to use, but I'm also going to try to use a regular brush to see how that looks. So that's the plan today. So again, starting off a little bit different because I wanted to do my cream products first, as this is a powder. So I am gonna jump into this. It's gonna be quite interesting. I think again I want to start with a brush and see how much coverage I can get, and then move in to the powder puff next. Please note that I still do have a cold, so if I am like red-eyed or watery eyes and stuff like that, that is why. So yeah, I'm gonna go into this foundation. I'm gonna use just this brush. This is from the Spectrum collection with a KJH, and it's the #1 brush. It's just like a really soft face brush, and I'm gonna go in with this one first and see how this one works with a brush. Yeah, just to see how it applies. So I'm gonna, alright, okay, I'm just gonna build it up by putting it on. That gives a really nice thin layer of coverage. I'm actually very pleased with that. Obviously it's not like super high coverage, but I'm just using a brush. I'm sorry if I'm covering my face with the mirror. But that evens out my skin really nicely. And I do think the color match is pretty good. So let me speed through applying a thin layer of powder everywhere. And there we have it. That is one thin layer of powder, and that looks really lovely. It does have a finish. I can tell it's quite dry around my nose, but again, I have a cold and I am dry in that area right now. But honestly, pretty good coverage, more coverage than I thought I would get from a brush. Yes, you can still see some of my imperfections, it's not covered as fully, and I'm really surprised with my color match. I'm really happy I've done such a good job with this color match throughout the series. But yeah, this looks really good. What I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to go in with my powder puff, and I'm going to take some on here. I have used the other side for my under eye powder, but I'm going to use a different corner just so I don't like affect the foundation. So I'm going to pick some up there, and I'm just gonna build it on my cheeks, mainly where I need coverage. And then we have that. That built so nicely and so quick and easy. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I haven't used a powder foundation yet, like before. I need some more coverage down there. I didn't miss a spot down there. Let me go ahead and get that. But yeah, this one looks super nice. It looks very flat right now, but I need to do the rest of my makeup. And it looks really nice. It doesn't look too powdery for being, again, a powder foundation. It does look very smoothing. Of course, it's going to feel very smooth because it is a powder. It's not like something that needs to set. But yeah, I'm very happily surprised to start off. I'm going to go off and do my makeup. Please note, today I'm actually not going to do my makeup because I'm going to do it later today for a video. So I'm just going to do my base makeup. It's a very simple look today, but it shouldn't affect obviously the foundation. But let me go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. So I'm back and I've done my makeup. Again, haven't done my eyes, but I'm going to do them later, so that's fine. But you can see what the foundation looks like. I think it looks really nice, really flawless. I'm very happily surprised. Let me grab a mirror. So yes, looking very up close and personal, I can see a little bit of like dryness on my nose. It does look a little bit makeup-y there, and maybe a tiny bit around my pores, but again, I know my skin is extremely dry right now because I do have that cold, and also just because of the weather changes here in the UK. It was so, like, it was cold and it got warm and then it got cold again, so like I think my body just can't keep up and my skin is very, very dry right now. But I do think overall it looks really nice. I can tell I put my blush in a little bit too far right there, so I'm just gonna pat that out, but that looks good. And yeah, first impression, it looks nice. It's not the most high coverage thing out of the week so far, and it's probably looking a little bit more makeup-y than what I would like, but again, I think as part of that comes down to how dry my skin is right now.
because even under my eyes where I have just my concealer and my regular powder, it does look a little bit drier than normal. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave this check-in right here. I am very happily surprised with this foundation. I did apply it around 7 a.m. this morning. It's now almost 20 past 7. So I'm gonna do a check-in as per normal around 12:01, and then I will wrap up the day again around 7 tonight. So this is gonna be it for the initial check-in. So it is my regular check-in. It's now 1 p.m. So it's been 6 hours since I put this on, and the foundation looks good. Again, don't mind my nose. I did actually touch it up just around my nose, so it does touch up really nicely, even though I am dry. But I think the foundation looks really good. I feel like the cheek products, they're definitely still there, but I feel like maybe they're faded a little bit. But since it's a powdery base, maybe that's why they don't stick as well. But I don't think it's like an issue or anything. I'm actually just about to sit down and do my makeup. I'm going to film another video, and that's why I waited to do my eye makeup. But I'm going to do that now. I'm obviously not going to touch the base at all, but I think it looks really good. Yeah, nothing like to complain about. Maybe it's faded a little bit around my chin, but again, I think that kind of comes in with me rubbing my face as well from having the cold. But looks really good, especially for a powder foundation, so I'm happy so far. So we're getting close to the end of the day, and I thought I would wrap up the check-in. It's been not quite 12 hours again, but it's been like 11 and a half, and dinner's cooking, so I wanted to wrap this up now. But looking at the foundation, again, nose is mega dry. Apologize for that. But yeah, don't judge that. It has nothing to do with foundation really, but if you do have dry patches, it does cling to them a little bit, but I think any foundation would cling to these dry patches. Otherwise, I haven't gotten absolutely no shine. It is a powder foundation, but well, I mean, it's getting glowier, but I wouldn't say have a shine at all. It's just, it looks very beautiful. Skin tone wise, I think this one might be like a shade too dark for me as well, like compared to the other foundations. But again, not even like I wouldn't be worried about going out like this. I did actually go out like this today. And I know I said in my mid check-in that the cheek products have faded, but I take that back. I don't think they have actually. I think maybe it's because I wasn't wearing eye makeup and I just felt like a little bit bare, but I do think it has lasted really well. Yeah, again on my nose it does look a little bit dry, but that is because my nose is dry. The only place I feel like it has any sort of wear is on my chin, which I mentioned as well, but I don't think it's gotten worse than the midday check-in. So honestly, this foundation has held up spectacularly. It's been really, really good. Yeah, you can see a little bit more shine coming through, but I wouldn't say I'm oily. So this is a really good foundation. I really do like this. This is actually one of my top ones for the week. I said I was gonna rank the foundations, and just first impression, sitting here now, I think top one would still be the Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint. I absolutely love that one. That will probably come in first. I think this foundation, the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam foundation, the powder foundation, would come in second. I really do like how this one looks. I think it's held up as well really well. And then that's when it gets a little bit unsure. I need to go back at my footage because I think the rest of them had pros and cons for all of them. Yeah, I think what I will do is I will insert a list here with the final rankings so you can look what my final thoughts are. But yeah, I have really been enjoying this. I do have an ultra filmed, which I actually filmed today, so I will wear the same makeup and everything. I will wear a different shirt though. But yeah, I really have been enjoying this, so it's been super fun to do this first impression. I've been really, really happily surprised with all my foundations. Obviously, some of them are better than others, like this one and this Maybelline Superstay. I would happily wear to any occasion. I feel like some of the other ones aren't as long lasting, some of them are a little bit drier, some of them are a little, like break up a little bit more, but overall very, very happily surprised, and they're some of the top foundations that I've tried in a long time. But let's jump on to the intro. I know this video is long enough, so I'm not going to ramble on anymore. So there you guys, there you have it. That's my roundup of the 5 new foundations. Again, I know this is a longer one, so I'm going to keep this outro quite short and sweet, but I really hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of a different type of video for me, so let me know if you did in the comments and in the liking this video. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one.
Bye guys.